think one of the biggest pieces I'm the most curious about is, again, I've known you for a while, you've put out content for a while, but at some point recently, 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't know the exact date, you probably might know a little better, Brian might know this, your content, specifically shorts, went from, I don't know where it was, but there's no doubt about it to anybody watching. It is can't miss content right now. My guy is charismatic, charming,
Come on now.
funny. The guy does not miss on content. Brian and I talk a lot about it. I'm sure we're going to get into it in this conversation around short form video. It's something we do a lot of on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. This man right here, I'm going to look in the camera and I'm going to tell the camera this. This man right here is he's the king of the cards. He'll tell you that. His Instagram name will tell you that. But he's the king of the content right now because it is crazy. Tell me how it happened. Tell me how we got there. Short form versus long form. This is a cards and content podcast.
Sure,
we can talk about cards all day, but I'm specifically interested about the content piece of you.
I have to say, so before I get into it, it means a lot. Seriously, coming from you and you guys, both of you, because I've seen you at shows for so long, and there's no question the respect and admiration I have for what you guys have put together over here. So don't think that, watching people kind of lead the way and create that path for others to create their own journey goes unnoticed. So I really appreciate that. But, that being said, I think I wanted to attack this thing to the fullest. And I didn't know what that actually meant until about, where we're sitting now, about a year ago.
Okay.
People knew who I was kind of in the space. I had a following, but it wasn't nearly to the scale. The viewership wasn't. I definitely had good content going.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize what that meant to really go all in.
Yep.
I made a commitment to myself, and to be exact, it was April of last year. I can remember I went to the Toronto Expo, and I was going back there. I said, this is where also my favorite times and best contents come from.
Great show.
I had all these shows back to back to back to back to back. Deals are rolling in. I'm doing more bigger deals, and the business had grown and everything. When, if not now? And so I devised the game plan. How much content I was going to put out, how it was going to take place, where it was going to take place, and I didn't care if it meant, at the end of a long show day that I had to go back and edit that video myself to get it up there for that day. I was going to execute that plan to perfection and stay so consistent that there was no question about what was going to happen. Because the content was already there, and what wasn't there yet was the consistency. And the consistency was also something that you learned from and enabled you to get 1% better every time you were putting out one of these videos. You needed that sample size, but it really started to become a compounding interest thing. And you guys are incredibly consistent too with what you guys are doing. So I don't have to tell you about what that can lead to when you actually learn what that means. Because people say they're consistent,
Yep.
and they don't actually understand. They think that they're telling the truth.
Yep.
But when you get consistent, I feel like I have some room to run still, and we're working on that actively. But there would go a week and I wouldn't post much of anything. That can't happen.
Yep.
It's hard now to go a couple days without posting anything.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're trying to scale it to there's no reason in the systems that be as they are to not have stuff out every day. And it's not about each video getting every video perfect. It's about being consistent overall, because even the ones in between, the banger videos, not everyone's going to be that big one that crushes. Not everyone's the game-winning shot. You got to hit the layups too.
Yep.
And that's what it became. So I can't perfectly pin it. I've always tried to be myself all the way through and through. If you catch me on or off camera, I know we were talking about this before, but I think authenticity is the biggest thing. People aren't stupid. They pick up on it no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing. If you're real, people can see that. If you're not, people can see it.
Yep.
And so sticking to that and just putting it out there, but really working at making the most of what I already had. The content was there. It was about how much can I get out? How many people can we get in front of? How many reps can we get in to keep getting better?
So many great points in there. The the repetition thing is a big thing for us. Brian and I have had a lot of those conversations just around, like, TikTok was a big one for me. I was really, really big on TikTok and the short form content early on. And I know you are big on TikTok, you're big on the short form. And that was one thing Brian and I talked about was like, I don't know when it was, probably almost a year ago, probably very similar time, but it was, we can't miss a TikTok upload. Every single day, no matter what, we have to get something up.
Yep.
And again, like you said, it was about being honest with yourself. Like, it's not always home run videos. Not everyone is the best, the coolest video, the best interaction. Not every one of those is gonna be a home run. Sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes a video pops off that you don't expect to, or vice versa. You've got the videos like, this video is great. Like, what do you mean? It's got 8 views. Like, that can't be a thing. So you've got those, but it was a year from now, I want to look back and say we posted every single day. And I think you can attest to this too. I think the one thing people often overlook in the short form content is this idea that when you create the piece of content, there's nothing stopping you from posting on TikTok and
That's
IG
right.
and YouTube and Facebook and all of these places. And when you have one good piece of content on all of these platforms, it's a humongous recipe for success.
So that the efficiency thing is a huge note for sure. For me, it doesn't work for every kind of style of content or every piece of content. So it's about testing that out at first. But been very fortunate to find that we design one video and our style of content ends up working like simultaneously. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and then to Facebook. I guess it leaks on there too. But it's really, if you can get that art down, it is so much easier to be efficient because you're creating one piece of content that serves a few audiences. And for anybody that thinks the audiences are the same, there's some overlap. Very low percentage. Like, you got 3 different audiences there. There's
Very
people
different.
that call me a TikToker, and there's people that call me a YouTuber.
Yep.
I can't say anybody said an Instagrammer, but you get the point. Like, it's just one of those things where like there's so many different opportunities in these different areas, and we're exploring other platforms coming up shortly here too of where we can do things. But if you can create a style, a format that gets you onto every platform as soon as you do one piece of work, that's unbelievable. And if I had any advice on that front, it would be in terms of posting. You're talking a lot about posting every day or something to that effect, but commit to the action and not the result. Meaning, don't look at the numbers, because once you take a step back, and this isn't my game I'm spitting over here, okay? This is from, watching a lot of different videos and reading a lot about this stuff, but would want to pass it on to the next person. If you get harped up on the numbers that it's producing, you'll confuse yourself, because like you just said, oh, this one was perfect. This is going to get millions. It goes nowhere. This one's whatever, I'll post it anyway, gets millions. Some of the science behind it will drive you insane. The only science you should be focused on is consistency and committing to the action. If you're worried about the result, it'll deter you and you'll fall off. But over the course of time, if you let yourself stick to that month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, it's gonna pan out. But you just have to be real about it.
For sure.